The Sonoran Desert held many secrets, but Dr. Olivia Reed never expected to find one bleeding turquoise blood into the sand. She stood frozen, her geological survey equipment forgotten in her hands, as she stared at the prone figure half buried in a small ravine. The being was clearly not human. Its skin had a metallic sheen and delicate ridge patterns that caught the morning light like hammered copper. Olivia's scientific mind catalogued details even as she rushed forward to help: roughly humanoid, bipedal, approximately 2 meters tall, with what appeared to be a severe injury to its thoracic cavity. The alien's eyes snapped open as she approached. They were entirely silver, with no visible pupils, yet somehow conveyed both pain and fear. "It's okay," Olivia said softly, knowing her words wouldn't be understood but hoping her tone would convey peaceful intentions. "I'm here to help." She reached for her satellite phone with trembling fingers, then remembered there was no signal this far out. Her research station was 5 kilometers away. She could make it back to her vehicle in 20 minutes if she ran. The alien made a sound like wind chimes in a storm, one hand weakly grasping at the air. Olivia noticed patterns of light moving beneath its skin, pulsing in what she guessed was distress. She couldn't leave it here alone. "I'm going to help you up," she said, moving slowly to avoid startling the creature. "We need to get you somewhere safe." The alien was surprisingly light despite its size, its body temperature notably cooler than a human's. It shuddered as she helped it stand, more turquoise blood seeping from what looked like an energy weapon wound. The walk back to her vehicle was arduous. The alien tried to support its own weight but grew weaker with each step. By the time they reached her modified research truck, Olivia was practically carrying it. She helped the being into the passenger seat, noticing how its silver eyes darted around, taking in every detail of the human vehicle. "Name's Olivia," she said, pointing to herself as she started the engine. The alien watched her for a long moment, then pressed a hand to its chest. A series of musical tones emerged, ending in what sounded like Riven. "Riven," Olivia repeated, earning what might have been a nod. "Hold on, we're getting you help." The research station was officially designated as a geological survey post, but Olivia had modified it significantly over her 3 years of residence. The main building was well equipped with medical supplies, though she had no idea if human medicine would help an alien physiology. As she helped Riven inside, the alien's silver eyes widened at the sight of her geological samples and equipment. Despite its obvious pain, it reached out to touch a particular crystal formation with what seemed like recognition. "You know what this is?" Olivia asked, watching as patterns of light rippled across Riven's skin. The alien made another musical sound, this one almost reverent, and traced the crystal structure with long fingers. Olivia's mind raced with implications. Was Riven a scientist too? The way it examined the crystal suggested trained observation. But first, she needed to tend to its wounds. She helped Riven onto her examination table, originally intended for studying large mineral samples. The alien remained eerily still as she cleaned the wound, only the shifting patterns beneath its skin betraying its discomfort. The injury looked like a clean energy blast, cauterized at the edges but deep enough to be serious. As she worked, Olivia noticed more details about her patient. What she had initially taken for decorative markings were actually intricate technological components integrated into Riven's copper-toned skin. They pulsed with soft light in regular patterns, except near the wound where they had gone dark. Riven watched her work with those inscrutable silver eyes, occasionally making musical sounds that seemed to carry meaning. After she finished bandaging the wound, the alien touched the dressing with something like wonder, then reached out to touch Olivia's hand. The contact sent a tingling sensation up her arm, and for a moment she saw complex mathematical equations floating in her mind's eye. "You're trying to communicate," she breathed, fascinated. "You're not just a scientist, you're an archaeologist, aren't you? Those crystals mean something to you." Riven's skin flickered with patterns that reminded Olivia of binary code. The alien gestured to the crystal collection, then to its own technological implants, then made a sweeping motion that encompassed the desert beyond the station's walls. Olivia's excitement mounted as understanding dawned. There's something out there, isn't there? Something your people lost, or left behind? The implications were staggering. Was Earth some kind of ancient alien archaeological site? But before she could pursue that line of thought, Riven's silver eyes flickered and its skin patterns grew erratic. The alien swayed, clearly exhausted from blood loss and trauma. Olivia helped it lie down, pulling up a blanket despite not knowing if the being even felt cold. Rest, she said firmly, pointing to the bed. Questions later. She had so many questions, about Riven's species, about why it was alone and injured, about what it was searching for in her desert. But they would have to wait. As Riven's eyes drifted closed, Olivia realized her life had irrevocably changed. She was now harboring an injured alien archaeologist with a mysterious mission. Her peaceful research station had just become ground zero for what could be the most important archaeological discovery in human history. And somewhere out in her beloved desert, something ancient was waiting to be found. 3 days after finding Riven in the desert, Olivia was no closer to understanding the alien's mission, but she had learned a great deal about its species. The crystalline formations she'd been studying weren't just minerals, they were remnants of an ancient communication network that spanned galaxies. Each crystal, when properly activated, could transmit vast amounts of data across unimaginable distances. Riven's people, the Asteri, had once been the guardians of this network. But something had gone wrong millennia ago, causing them to abandon Earth and many other outposts. Now, as Riven's wound slowly healed, the alien archaeologist seemed determined to piece together what had happened. Communication remained challenging but fascinating. Riven's touch-based telepathy could share images and basic concepts, but complex ideas often got lost in translation. The alien skin patterns had evolved into a sophisticated language of their own. Olivia found herself learning to read Riven's emotions through the shifting lights beneath its copper-toned surface. So these crystals, Olivia said one evening, holding up a particularly intricate specimen, they're like nodes in a computer network? She felt the familiar tingling sensation as Riven touched her hand, sharing a vision of countless stars connected by threads of light. The alien skin rippled with patterns that Olivia now recognized as excitement. Riven pointed to its technological implants, then to the crystal, making that musical chiming sound that seemed to indicate agreement. But there was something more, a sense of urgency that had been growing stronger as the alien recovered. Someone's looking for you, aren't they? Olivia asked, noting how Riven's skin patterns shifted to darker hues. That's why you were injured. You found something you weren't supposed to find. The alien's silver eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made her breath catch. Through their touch telepathy connection, Olivia caught glimpses of other Asteri, but these had red-tinted skin and aggressive, angular patterns. She saw massive ships searching the stars, felt Riven's fear and determination to keep something hidden. Your own people are hunting you, she realized. Because you discovered the truth about why Earth was abandoned. The alien skin pulsed with confirmation, and through their connection, Olivia understood more. The crystal network hadn't failed, it had been deliberately sabotaged. A faction among the Asteri had wanted to keep younger species like humanity from accessing the vast knowledge contained within. Riven moved to the window, gazing out at the desert stars. Its skin patterns formed complex equations that Olivia was slowly learning to recognize as coordinates. Something vital was hidden out there, something that could reactivate the ancient network. But finding it would put them both in danger. We need supplies, Olivia said, making her decision. If we're going on an archaeological expedition, we should be properly equipped. Riven turned to her, silver eyes widening at the implied offer of help. The alien skin brightened with patterns that Olivia now knew meant gratitude and relief. She spent the next day gathering equipment, geological tools, camping gear, her research vehicles as emergency supplies. Riven watched with interest as she packed, occasionally touching items to understand their purpose through telepathic impression. The alien seemed particularly fascinated by her laptop, skin lighting up with complex patterns when she demonstrated its functions. That night, as they sat reviewing topographical maps of the desert, Riven suddenly grew still. Its skin patterns shifted to warning colors Olivia had never seen before. Through their touch telepathy, she caught a glimpse of something entering the Earth's atmosphere, a ship, but not like the sleek vessels she'd seen in Riven's other memories. This was darker, more predatory. "They've found you," she whispered. Riven's skin pulsed with confirmation, patterns shifting to show urgency. They needed to leave immediately. The alien pointed to a specific location on the map, a remote area of the desert where the geological formations matched patterns Olivia had seen in ancient crystal structures. "That's where we need to go?" she asked, already gathering their packed supplies. "That's where the truth is hidden." Riven's touch shared a brief but powerful vision, a vast underground chamber filled with crystals, each one containing millennia of accumulated knowledge. Knowledge that could revolutionize human understanding of the universe, or tear civilization apart if it fell into the wrong hands. As they loaded the research vehicle under the cover of darkness, Olivia caught herself watching the stars with new awareness. Somewhere up there, forces were gathering that could change the course of human history. Her simple geological survey had become a race to uncover ancient secrets, with an alien fugitive as her only ally. Riven touched her shoulder, sharing a sensation of reassurance. The alien's silver eyes seemed to glow in the starlight, and its skin patterns formed what Olivia now recognized as a promise. Whatever they found in the desert, whatever dangers they faced, they would face them together. The research station grew small in her rearview mirror as they drove into the night. Ahead lay the unknown, ancient mysteries, pursuing enemies, and the deepening bond between two beings from vastly different worlds. Olivia couldn't help but smile. She had always known the desert held secrets, but she never imagined they would be quite like this. Dawn painted the desert in shades of gold and crimson as Olivia guided their vehicle through a narrow canyon. They had been driving all night, taking circuitous routes to throw off any pursuit. Beside her, Riven's skin pulsed with patterns she now recognized as calculations. The alien was constantly monitoring atmospheric disturbances that might indicate approaching ships. They had abandoned the main roads hours ago, following what Riven indicated was an ancient path, one that wouldn't appear on modern maps. The alien's silver eyes remained fixed on a particular formation in the distance, where towering mesas rose like sentinels against the morning sky. "That's where we're headed?" Olivia asked, noting how the rock formations seemed oddly regular for natural structures. Riven's touch confirmed her suspicion. What looked like weather-worn stone was actually the remains of an ancient asteroid outpost, carefully disguised to blend with Earth's natural geology. A sudden flash of red rippled across Riven's skin. The alien's hand shot out, pointing to their right. Olivia slammed on the brakes just as a beam of energy carved through the air where they had been moments before. The shot hit a nearby boulder, turning it to molten slag. "Hold on." Olivia yanked the wheel, sending their vehicle skidding behind an outcropping. Through the windshield, she caught glimpses of figures moving along the canyon rim, their copper-toned skin marking them as Asteri, but their aggressive movements and blood-red patterns revealing them as hunters. Riven's skin flickered with complex equations, and suddenly the vehicle's electronics went dark. Olivia understood, they were masking their signature. Through touch telepathy, the aliens shared urgent images. The hunters weren't just looking for Riven, they were trying to prevent anyone from reaching the hidden outpost. They abandoned the vehicle, gathering only essential supplies. Riven led them through a maze of narrow crevices, using its knowledge of ancient Asteri architecture to navigate what Olivia now realized was an elaborate defensive network. Every natural-looking formation had been carefully engineered, designed to protect something of immense value. As they moved deeper into the canyon, Riven shared more through their telepathic connection. The Asteri had once been mentors to younger species, sharing knowledge through the crystal network. But a faction had emerged that believed some species, humans included, weren't ready for such advancement. They had sabotaged the network, erased records, and maintained their dominion over the stars through carefully controlled technological advancement. "But you found proof," Olivia whispered as they crouched behind a rock formation, watching energy beams slice through the air above them. "Evidence that they deliberately held us back." Riven's skin pulsed with confirmation, but also with something else, regret, and a deep sense of responsibility. The alien pressed a hand to the rock wall beside them, and Olivia watched in amazement as hidden patterns began to glow beneath the stone's surface. Ancient technology, still active after thousands of years, responded to Riven's touch. A section of the wall shifted silently, revealing a dark passage. They slipped inside just as another energy blast struck their previous position. The passage sealed behind them, plunging them into darkness broken only by the bioluminescent patterns flowing across Riven's skin. These patterns now served as both light and guide, showing them safe paths through what appeared to be a vast underground complex. Olivia's scientific mind was overwhelmed by what she saw. The walls were lined with crystalline formations far more sophisticated than any she had studied. Each one hummed with dormant energy, waiting to be reactivated. Through their telepathic connection, she understood that this facility wasn't just a communication node, it was a library, a repository of knowledge meant to guide humanity's development. "Your people were supposed to be our teachers," she realized, watching as Riven interfaced with a central crystal array. "Not our masters." The alien skin patterns shifted to express sorrow and determination. Through their connection, Olivia saw glimpses of other worlds where similar repositories lay hidden, waiting to be rediscovered. A distant explosion rocked the facility. The hunters had found the entrance. Riven worked faster, skin practically blazing with complex commands as it attempted to reactivate the ancient systems. But something was wrong, the patterns weren't completing correctly, as if key components were missing. Olivia studied the crystal array, her geological training combining with what she had learned about Asteri technology. "The resonance is off," she said, pulling specimens from her pack, the very crystals she had been studying before finding Riven. "Could these help?" The alien's silver eyes widened in what might have been surprise, then appreciation. Through their touch, Olivia understood, she had unknowingly been collecting the exact components needed to complete this ancient circuit. Her years of research, which she had thought purely geological, had been unconsciously guided by traces of Asteri influence. As another explosion shook the facility, Riven began integrating her crystals into the array. Each piece clicked into place with a musical tone, the frequencies building into a harmony that made the very air vibrate. The hunters were getting closer, but something was awakening in the heart of the repository, something that had waited millennia to be rediscovered. Olivia stood beside Riven, watching as ancient knowledge began to flow through reactivated crystals. They had found what they were seeking, but their discovery brought new dangers. The hunters would stop at nothing to prevent this knowledge from reaching humanity. And somewhere above them, in the desert they had crossed, more ships were surely approaching. The repository thrummed with power, its secrets finally stirring after eons of sleep. But they weren't safe yet, they still had to survive long enough to share what they had found with the world. As energy blasts began to echo through the underground chambers, Olivia and Riven shared a look of determination. The real challenge was just beginning. The ancient repository hummed with awakened power, its crystalline matrices casting prismatic light across the underground chamber. Olivia worked frantically at a control interface Riven had activated, her fingers guided by the alien's telepathic instructions. Above them, the sound of energy weapons grew closer. "How much longer?" she asked, though the question was unnecessary. Through their telepathic link, she could feel Riven's intense concentration as the alien worked to download millennia of knowledge. The Asteri's skin pulsed with urgent patterns, mathematical sequences that interfaced with the repository's systems. A blast shook the chamber, sending cascades of dust from the ceiling. Through their connection, Olivia caught glimpses of the hunters' positions. They were systematically sealing off escape routes, working their way down to the central chamber. But they didn't know about the emergency protocols Riven had discovered in the facility's ancient coding. There's another way out, Olivia realized, watching patterns flow across Riven's skin. Through the old maintenance tunnels. The alien's touch confirmed her understanding, sharing images of a vast underground network that connected multiple Astery facilities. If they could reach it, they might have a chance. Another explosion rocked the chamber, closer this time. Riven's skin flashed warning patterns. The download wasn't complete, but they were out of time. The alien made a decision, pulling a crystal from the central array and pressing it into Olivia's hands. Through their connection, she understood, this single crystal contained enough information to prove the truth about humanity's stunted development. They had just turned toward their escape route when the chamber's main entrance exploded inward. 3 Astery hunters stepped through the smoke, their red-tinted skin pulsing with aggressive patterns. Their leader, taller than Riven and marked with scarified technological implants, spoke in that musical language Olivia had come to recognize. Riven responded, its skin patterns shifting to show defiance. Through their touch, Olivia understood fragments of the exchange. The hunters weren't just trying to prevent the truth from spreading, they were offering Riven amnesty, a chance to rejoin their people if they destroyed the evidence. The alien's rejection was immediate and profound. Riven's skin blazed with patterns Olivia had never seen before, not just defiance, but a declaration of something deeper. Through their connection, she felt Riven's choice: humanity deserved the truth, deserved the chance to develop on their own terms. And more than that, Riven had found something among humans that its own people had forgotten: the joy of discovery, of learning without agenda. The hunter leader's skin darkened with anger. Energy weapons hummed to life, their tips glowing with deadly promise. But Riven had anticipated this moment. The alien's hand found a hidden control panel, and suddenly the chamber's ancient defenses awakened. Crystalline formations in the walls pulsed with power, creating energy fields that deflected the hunter's first shots. Olivia and Riven ran, ducking through a concealed doorway as chaos erupted behind them. The maintenance tunnels were narrow and dark, lit only by Riven's bioluminescence and the crystal Olivia carried. They could hear pursuit, but Riven knew these tunnels in a way the hunters didn't. The aliens' people had built this facility, but they had forgotten its secrets, forgotten the original purpose of guiding and nurturing younger species. Through their telepathic link, Olivia felt Riven's bitter understanding. The hunters were products of their own propaganda, truly believing they were protecting the galaxy by controlling its development. The tunnel network was a maze, but Riven led them unerringly toward what felt like the surface. Olivia's scientific mind mapped their progress. They were heading not toward the desert floor, but up into one of the mesas they had seen earlier. The entire formation, she realized, was an ancient Astery structure, disguised by millennia of natural weathering. They emerged into a hidden hangar near the mesa's peak. Olivia gasped at what waited there: a small ship, sleek and organic-looking, its surface covered in the same technological patterns as Riven's implants. Through their connection, she understood this was how Riven had originally reached Earth, following encrypted coordinates in ancient Astery records. But as they ran toward the ship, energy blasts filled the hangar. The hunters had guessed their destination. Riven pushed Olivia toward the ship's entrance, skin pulsing with urgent commands that interfaced with the vessel's systems. The alien turned to face their pursuers, buying time for the ship to power up. "I'm not leaving without you," Olivia said firmly, clutching the crystal that contained their precious evidence. Riven's touch shared feelings of gratitude, of friendship, of something deeper that transcended their different species. But also determination. One of them had to survive to share the truth. The ship's systems hummed to life as energy blasts crisscrossed the hangar. Riven's skin blazed with complex patterns, not just interfacing with technology now but expressing emotions too deep for their telepathic link to fully convey. The alien had spent centuries searching for the truth about its people's past, only to find something even more valuable, a connection with someone who shared the same passion for discovery, the same belief in the right to learn and grow. The hunters were closing in, their weapons charging for a final assault. The ship was ready, its systems accepting Olivia's presence due to her connection with Riven. They had only moments to decide, stay together and risk everything, or separate to ensure their discovery survived. In that instant, as energy beams filled the air and ancient technology hummed with power, two beings from vastly different worlds faced a choice that would shape not just their futures, but the future of human-asteroid relations forever. Time seemed to slow in the ancient hangar as energy beams crisscrossed through the air. Olivia stood in the ship's doorway, the crystal containing their precious evidence clutched to her chest, watching as Riven faced down the hunters. The alien skin blazed with patterns of defiance, each pulse of light a declaration of independence from centuries of deception. Then Riven did something unexpected. Instead of continuing to fight, the alien skin shifted to display complex mathematical sequences. Through their telepathic link, Olivia felt recognition ripple through the hunters. Riven wasn't just showing them codes, but proof. Ancient records, hidden in the aliens' own technological implants, demonstrating how their ancestors had meant for humanity to develop. The hunter leader's aggressive patterns faltered, red-tinted skin showing confusion. Riven pressed the advantage, sharing more through the asteroid's natural telepathic abilities, images of human achievement, of resilience and creativity, of all the ways humanity had grown despite being cut off from their intended mentors. The other hunters lowered their weapons, their skin patterns shifting from hostility to uncertainty. Olivia felt a shift in the air, a change in the very energy of the place. Through her connection with Riven, she understood what was happening. The alien wasn't just fighting, it was fulfilling the original asteroid mission of teaching, of sharing knowledge. Even with those who had been trying to kill them. The hunter leader stepped forward, skin now showing patterns Olivia recognized as questions. Riven's response was to extend a hand, offering direct telepathic connection. After a moment's hesitation, the leader accepted. The contact sparked a cascade of light patterns across both alien skin, a sharing of truth too profound for words. Olivia watched in amazement as the other hunters gathered close, their own skin patterns synchronizing as they joined the telepathic exchange. She felt echoes through her connection with Riven, centuries of hidden history, the true purpose of the crystal network, and the beauty of allowing younger species to find their own path. But it wasn't just history being shared. Through Riven, the hunters experienced what their ancestors had intended, the joy of genuine connection with another species, of teaching through collaboration rather than control. They felt what Riven had discovered during its time with Olivia, that true understanding could only come through mutual respect and open exchange. The crystal in Olivia's hands began to pulse in harmony with the patterns flowing across the alien skin. The repository below was still active, its ancient systems resonating with the profound moment taking place in the hangar. Through their telepathic link, she felt Riven's satisfaction. This was what the alien had been searching for, not just proof of the past, but a chance to change the future. Hours later, as Earth's sun set behind the mesa, Olivia stood with Riven watching the hunter's ship depart. It wasn't leaving to report failure or to summon reinforcements, but to spread truth. The hunters had become messengers, carrying evidence that would shake the foundations of asteroid society. What happens now? Olivia asked, though through their connection she could feel the answer forming. Riven's skin shifted to show patterns of possibility, images of humans and asteroid working together, sharing knowledge as equals. The crystal network would be reactivated gradually, allowing humanity to develop at its own pace while having access to the guidance it had been meant to receive. But there was something more, something personal beneath the grand possibilities. Riven turned to her, silver eyes reflecting the desert sunset. Through their touch, Olivia felt the alien's decision. The asteroid would need a bridge between their species, someone who understood both worlds. Someone who had proven that cooperation was not just possible, but essential. "You're staying," she realized, joy bubbling up through their connection. Riven's skin rippled with patterns of affirmation, but also of invitation. The alien hadn't just found evidence of humanity's potential, it had found a partner in discovery. Together, they could help guide both their peoples toward a future that honored the past while embracing new possibilities. They stood together as stars began to appear above the desert, each one now holding new meaning. Somewhere out there, change was already beginning. The hunters would share what they had learned, setting in motion a transformation generations in the making. Earth scientists would soon learn about their cosmic heritage, about the mentors who had meant to guide them, and about the truth that had waited so long to be found. But for now, in this moment, two beings from different worlds stood watching the same stars. Their journey had begun with a chance encounter in the desert, an injured alien and a curious human whose compassion had changed everything. Now they faced a new horizon together, proof that the greatest discoveries often come not from ancient repositories or advanced technology, but from the simple choice to help, to trust, and to believe in something better. Riven's hand found hers, sharing one last vision, not of the past or the future, but of the present moment. In all the alien centuries of searching through the ruins of its people's past, it had never expected to find something so precious, a friend who shared the same passion for truth, the same joy in discovery, the same hope for what their peoples could become together. The desert wind carried the last light of day across the mesa, and with it the promise of new beginnings. Above them, the first stars of evening seemed to pulse in harmony with Riven's skin patterns, a reminder that the universe's greatest mysteries often lead us not just to truth, but to each other.